Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick video on Spyro 3 details that you may have missed. I'm sure there's a ton more, but these are the ones that I found. Please comment down below if you have any cool details that I missed and I'll put it in the next video. Without further ado, let's begin. There are two hunters in Midday Gardens. If you position the camera at just the right angle, you'll be able to see them both. I'm glad that Hunter has figured out the shadow clone jutsu from Fireworks Factory that the ninjas use. You could also do this in the original game. I'm glad that they didn't change this in the Reignited trilogy. Staying with the shadow clone jutsu in Sunrise Forest, after you've beaten Buzz, you can see two Zoes. This also works in the original. It's a bit harder to see in the original, but that's Zoe. Spyro has officially entered the multiverse. Unfortunately, Zoe doesn't flip like in the second game or the fairies in the first game. If you don't know what I'm talking about, links to my Spyro 2 details video in the description below. In most of the levels, Zoe just zaps you and disappears into oblivion, so she doesn't have the opportunity to keep flipping. In Sunny Villa, if you position yourself at just the right angle and jump, you can make Spyro enter the falling animation and fall forever. And do a skull bash just for fun. Again, I feel so terrible for enjoying Spyro's pain. I hope that you guys like random useless glitches because I really do. The best part about it is that you have to use an egg to do this. I'm not sure how I managed to do this, but I'm glad I did. The squirrel is just directly above me and refuses to detonate the TNT. I thought it was cool and thought that you guys should know about it. Another MLG speedrunning strategy right here. Also, why is the duck so happy? I wish I could get that happy. In the original, this was a cutscene, and for this game, it's not. I actually discovered this when I was trying to beat the game without gliding, so I wanted to put it here in case you guys missed it. Instead of having to glide over from Cloud Spires where Hunter is, you can simply use this wall to knock yourself up to the ledge. This is very hard to do. The way it works is that when Spyro hits a surface with a charge, there is some knockback both vertically and horizontally, so I thought that it might be possible to use this knockback to get Spyro up onto the ledge, and to my surprise it worked. This is another quote-unquote glide skip I discovered in my glideless run. In Cloud Spires, if you time it just right, you'll be able to skip the entire level with just one glide. This isn't actually that hard to pull off. This is minor, but in the original game we could stand on objects. In the Reignited trilogy, we can't. I don't know why they did this. Like, did they think we would use the extra foot in the air to glide an extra foot into the abyss before we died? I don't know. Midday Gardens. So there's a few things I found. First, I actually prefer Spyro's swimming animation in the original. He just looks like he's struggling less to swim. That may just be me though. There's also these cool 2D sprites in the waterfall in the Reignited version, whereas in the original, the water goes smoothly into the pool. As for the pool area though, in the original, Spyro cannot swim under the bridge. In the Reignited version, he can. Also, this was really cool. So by the Super Flame power-up, in the original, they used a 3D animation for the flame. And in the Reignited version, they had a 2D image for it. To me, it feels like the older game would want to have the 2D animation for less resources and to keep the amount of items the game renders lower, as opposed to the remake. But I don't know anything about making a game. Also, the power-up has a bush on the left of it, so you can't stand to the left of the Super Flame. In the original, there's no bush. Yes, I know, very minor. This was found by Canadian Guy A. Link to his video in the description below. So in the rocket area in Midday Gardens, all of the NPCs that have a poster in this room have the name Pavender written somewhere in it. Apparently Toys for Bob put Pavender's name on these NPCs because he's a kid that suffered with cancer and he had very hard life. You guys should check out Canadian Guy A's video on this, as this is very emotional. Link to his video in the description. Keeping with the minor details, in Bamboo Terrace, the boulder in the remake faces the player, whereas the boulder in the original essentially is looking up towards the sky.
Doobie doobie doo. Dooby dooby doo.
Someone please give me their thoughts below. What is the interpretation of this? Dooby dooby doo. I prefer the original, but that's the old man in me. Also, when did the NPCs become nerds? They wear glasses, and the nerdiest thing is that all of them dab. For those of you that don't know, the dab is a very lame dance move from post 2010, I believe. And yes, lame is the cool word to say. And I thought the flossing was too much, especially in Enchanted Towers, but this is even worse. So the sound design for the Reignited trilogy is a bit off compared to the original. These are some of the sounds that keep me up at night since they didn't include them. Does anyone remember Harold from Fireworks Factory in the original? I still think that they say Harold. What else are they saying? Comment down below. I prefer this to the in the original. I will admit that I didn't see the difference when I initially played the remake for the first or 100th time until I looked for details. This time the atrocity is made in Charmed Ridge. Just listen to the cats. Another The original just sounds better to me. It feels like you actually frightened them or something. The last one I wanted to mention is the squirrel from Icy Peak. Notice the subdued noise. At first you would think that there's nothing wrong with the noise. Now listen to the original. Very different, right? When I was smaller, this laugh alone from the squirrels used to scare me. Not the enemy itself. Do you guys hear this too? I just think that Jack looks super fly and dope in the remake. He's got the metal and what all Superfly kids need, a propped collar. Whereas in the first game he's just a green elf. Whilst we're on Jack, the hitboxes in the remake are lame for this part of the level. I'm pretty sure that I didn't hit anything but stuff broke. The coolest thing for me in Spooky Swamp is the lobster. I really like the animation it does compared to the original, which is not any animation. Another thing that I spent way too long looking at. For the boss fight here, the original is just a black sky with literally one star in it, whereas the remake has stars. Freaky. They also reuse the same sign from the original, which is sort of cool. In boss fights in the original, it is possible to see the rocket while you're beating the bosses. When you fight Buzz, Spike, and Scorch, you can see the rocket, at least the original you can. In the remake, the rocket is nowhere to be seen during these fights. Maybe since this was made almost 2 decades later, the developers were more environmentally friendly and wanted to not waste fuel or something. Also, the rocket has 2 mini rockets on the side for some reason. Maybe since Spyro is extra meaty, I mean, look at the way he swims. So obviously they needed to add 2 more rockets. When you're transitioning to a new homeworld using the rocket, you actually get to see Spyro just standing in the rocket in the remake, as opposed to the original where we just see the rocket without windows. I like the design of Sparks' food in the original, but once again the animation in the remake makes the whole remake version win. I swear they got the inspiration for that animation from Mr. Krabs. Also, what happened to this guy? He was white in the original. Not that I'm saying white is better than black or anything. Oh god. There's doors missing from the portal to go catch the thieves. The whip enemy does the freaky lurching ready position in the original, and the remake he just has his whip twirling. This is the last one for the list, and I really just wanted to include this since this is the one area I think the remake failed at. Fireworks Factory was one of the best levels in the original games. What really sold it was the game over screen and the start screen. two of which the remake does not have. In both the second and third games in the original, we would get to see the cool loading screen for the adventure continues, something that I would have liked to see get some attention in the remake, but did not. Not that I'm complaining Spyro flying is a bad thing. Speaking of how the original was better, remember the guidebooks? That was cool. I'll stop now, you guys get it. So that's my very short list of cool details for Spyro 3 and the Reignited trilogy. I know it was more of a compare and contrast, but I hope you guys enjoyed my video and learned something new. Please comment down below if you have any cool details about the original Spyro 3 or the Reignited version that I may have missed, and I'll put it in the next video to share with everyone. I know I missed a good amount. Next on the list is Spyro 1's details. That'll probably be made after I do the no glide run of the game, just so I'm reacquainted with the levels, so I might just make a part 2 details of Spyro 2 or Spyro 3. What would you guys like? Thank you for watching.